Welcome to Wesley Amazon Church, where we are working the vineyard through faith, worship, witness, and service. We have something in store for you today. Today we did something a little different. I asked the young man to share on our Father's Day, and he brought a friend along, and they engaged in a dialogue that helped enlighten many of us about the issues of men. So we're going to go into that message and we're going to let them speak for themselves. And I pray that you'll enjoy the message today.
I just wanted to say good morning, happy risings to all the kings and queens, family members, church members. Um, I hope all the fathers woke up to breakfast and bread this morning. And if not, I'm sure your wives or significant others are going to make sure you got a nice, well-prepared dinner today. Um, the topic of a conversation for today is when men fall short. Um, I would like to introduce Devon Heath. Like I said before, he definitely is a guy that I really admire. A father of three, married to his lovely wife, Jen. But his wisdom and knowledge is right on time for this day and time. So on that note, I would like to just introduce Devon Heath. The broad topic in which we'll be talking about today is when men fall short. So after just talking to Devon and tossing around some different things that we was talking about, the topic, why both why we are both here. This topic is about Jacob and Israel, and sometimes Jacob and Israel get into a fight, living in the same body. Sometimes Jacob wants to quit, and Israel wants to stay. Sometimes Israel wants to live holy, and Jacob wants to do such things like go to the strip club. Sometimes Israel wants to read the Bible, and Jacob wants to watch porn. And we are both living in this situation, same situation. Y'all, I hope y'all are ready for a real message today on this Father's Day. Can we handle the truth today? So on that note, I'm gonna let Devon talk about our dialogue and our topics that we're gonna discuss. We'll go into
So first off, thank you everybody for having me. I really appreciate it. Like you said, my name is Devon Heath. I have three small kids, ages 6, 2, and 1. So I'm at the very beginning of the spectrum. My wife and I have been married for 7 years now. And whenever Rayvon asked me to be a part of this, first off, I was honored that he even thought about me. That God led him to me and my name and what I represent and what I stand for. So I greatly appreciate the opportunity. So a bigger portion of when men fall short, couple of things that we want to talk about today. First off, one is manning the horse and tending to the carriage, and we'll get more into what that means and how we manage through it. Secondly, it's also with men, we have this thing called testosterone, and it can be an overwhelming desire. It can come to a thing where we have an overwhelming desire to win, and sometimes it comes at any cost, and that can be a gift and a curse. And then the third thing that we want to talk about is how us as men, we need a lot of encouragement over criticism. We'll kind of get into those three topics. We'll only spend a few minutes on each topic, I know we're pressed for time, and then we'll move on. So, Rayvon, if you want to kick it off.
Okay, so manning the horse, and tending to the carriage. So if you think about that whole concept of a horse and a carriage, a lot of times our family is the carriage, and then we have the horses that we're actually directing the direction of those horses while it's pulling that carriage. So a lot of times we, as men, we find ourselves torn between both situations. Do we drive the horse and send it in the direction that it needs to go in? Or do we stop driving in a certain direction to hop in the back of the carriage to actually take care of the family, the kids, and deal with those day-to-day situations that take place at home? So basically the carriage represents the home, and then the horses in the direction kind of represents the direction that we go in life as far as with careers, business. And sometimes as men, it's very difficult for us to kind of balance the two. Because on one hand, we have the family that need us at home. They need us there. They need the support. But then also too, as men, especially as Black men, trying to figure out the direction in which we should be going, and then managing the driving in the direction of the horse that's going to lead the whole family to the destination and where it needs to go. We find that difficult. And Devon, you can kind of piggyback off of what I'm just saying and how we was talking about that topic.
Yeah, man. Sometimes it can leave you torn as a man. It can leave you torn because you want to lead your family to whatever it is that you're trying to lead them to, whatever goals that you have, whatever you set in front of you, the path that you're trying to get to, the destination that you're trying to get to. You want to try to get there as effectively and in most cases as quickly as possible. But a lot of times we get sidetracked because we have to, as men, we have to attend to the carriage. You can't, it's hard trying to find that happy median and balance, trying to go to different networking events and trying to push the family forward and going to work and working those extra hours and doing what we need to do to get to where we see as men where we want our families to be. But then in the carriage part, you still got to check on the wife. If the wife is saying something, if the girlfriend is saying something, if the kids are saying something, you got to stop. And every time you stop and go and look into that carriage, you're not making progress. I'm not saying that you can't do that, which you definitely have to. If you want to maintain a family, you have to make sure that your family, that your kids, that your significant other is okay. But I think what you were saying is that it just creates a sense of confusion because you like, I really know I need to be doing something to push this family forward, but I also got to make sure that the kids are okay. I got to make sure that they have what they need for school and sports. I got to make sure that my significant other has what she needs for, her personal care, her personal time, my time with me. And it just presents a very difficult decision sometimes that men have to make on whether we need to keep pushing forward and trying to take this family to where we're trying to take it to, or whether we need to stop or pause or whatever and tend to home. Does that make sense?
Yeah, and so like I give an example. So for example, for years I worked third shift. Just trying to provide for my family, working third shift, and then I literally was working a first shift job as well. So I would get off third shift, hit the gym, take a shower, and I'm right back in my first shift job. I come home, interact with my family. At the time, my children was younger, so they're growing. They have to be here, they have to be there. And then it was becoming stressful. It was a strain. All I was trying to do is provide, but at the same time, I was losing my wife, I was losing my kids, my connection with them. And then just really trying to balance the two. A lot of times, I think sometimes even the household don't understand what we actually battle with as men, just trying to find balance between being a provider as well as, trying to provide for the family, provide for the kids, and as well as maintain everything. Right. So, and then I think a lot of times our wives and children, they don't see it because you're not there. That's what they see, that you're absent, you're not present. Not realizing that, you're out trying to really just find your career path, find direction. And sometimes it puts a lot of stress on us as men and not even being able to, a lot of times, because in our community, it's women are always taught that one day I'm going to get married, I'm going to have a son and a daughter, a house with a fence around it, and a dog. And the only thing we taught is a man don't supposed to cry, and you're supposed to provide for your family. So in the midst of that, a lot of times we're crying internally as well as trying to just maintain all that. So that was the main thing behind that topic, was just being able to just really think about the balance of the two.
I think a lot of times, Rayvon, we feel guilt too, man. We feel real guilty. Especially in my situation, I can only speak for me, but I know I'm speaking for some men when I say that we feel guilty. In my situation, like I said, I got 3 small kids and my wife works full time as well. So if I'm not in the house, then she's more than likely she's with the kids. And I feel guilty if I'm going to different networking events, even though I'm doing it not for my own personal gratification. Like I'm doing it to make connections, to try to push our family forward. And eventually get to the financial freedom part and think things that we want to do in life. But if I'm doing that, then I'm not at home and she's at home. And with 3 small ones, it can get really frustrating very, very easily. And then if I come home and she's frustrated, then sometimes that frustration is directed towards me, even though it's unintentional. It's not intentionally directed towards me, but that's how it comes off sometimes. And so it's like, I'm like, well, dang, I don't want to miss this opportunity to make some connections, but at the same time, I don't want to come home to ruckus and then me and her riffing. So it's like I got to make a decision sometimes where it's like, all right, well, I'm not gonna go to this event. I'm gonna go ahead and go home and give her some relief with the kids and so forth. So sometimes that guilt can get in the way, and that is where that balance comes in. When I was talking about that balance, is kind of hard to find sometimes.
Right. And just to piggyback off of what you said, like I can use, like you said, using myself for an example, to the point that when I was working them 2 jobs and trying to juggle family and time and being there for my children, and then it was internal stress. So nobody knew I was dealing with it to a certain extent. I just knew that I had to do something different. So what really was my driving point was, I'll never forget, my wife was, at the time, she was in the process of taking her Series 7 insurance test. And the stress had just became so overwhelming, of just trying to juggle and, just going through day to day, just trying to maintain it all. I never forget, she had to take a test that morning, and in the middle of the night, I started having chest pains. So I literally, not wanting to alarm her because I knew this, how important this test was, I literally, 3:00 in the morning, I got up, threw on my clothes, got in my car, and literally drove myself to the emergency room. And to the point that I felt like and then at that point, the anxiety had kicked in, and I literally had called 911 while I'm driving to the emergency room, and was like, I don't even know if I'm gonna make it, but I did. But when they checked my blood pressure, they was like, it was so high. The lady was like, she didn't even understand how I was even still walking around functioning. So stress, that level of stress is there. And I think a lot of times we're carrying around a lot of stress, and people around us don't even know. So with that being said, it made me adjust, some of the things that I was doing, just really started taking my health a lot more serious, really started getting my mind clear, always consistently praying, and then just start, depending on God to kind of start alleviating some of these situations. And needless to say, he was able to put me in a situation that I was able to leave my job, and start my own group home and have my own clients. So really taking one client from the group home replaced both for incomes for both of those jobs that I was working. So just saying that, for all the men and, individuals that's out here trying to make it happen for their families, just keep on putting God first. And at some point he will help alleviate that and put you in a situation where you can win without the stress, and balance that whole situation in your house.
Yeah, I think that's a perfect segue to the next topic of us having that testosterone, which ultimately gives us that overwhelming desire to win.
Right.
And when because we're men, we're naturally competitive by nature. Right. That's just something that it's just instilled in the vast majority of us. It's instilled in us that we have to win, gotta win. Like if we're going to put it in family terms, like our family has to be successful. We have to see, and ultimately, if we don't, then it's my fault. So right. All that pressure and all that stress is weighing heavily square on our shoulders because A, we put it there, and B, God ordained us as the priest of our household, as the head of our household, as the leaders of our household. So as a leader, you want to make sure that your team is winning.
Correct.
But sometimes some men, and I've been guilty of this before, is trying to win at all costs. And that testosterone, man, can be such a gift and a curse. It can be great when you have to protect your family, and that testosterone kick in. Hey, it's whatever I got to do to protect my family. But then sometimes that testosterone can be a negative when you're trying to win at all costs, and that means that you got to cheat your way to win, or you doing some illegal stuff to win, or whatever it is that you necessarily shouldn't be doing in God's eyes that we're doing to win.
Right. And what you said is so important, because that testosterone, just like you say, as men, just that competitive nature, whether it's, you know, in sports, or whether it's in the workforce, or whether it's in our home. And then just realizing too, just starting to just understand as I'm starting to get older, like it's natural in us to be fixers. And sometimes we got to understand that God doesn't want us to fix it. Sometimes he wants us just to listen. Sometimes he wants us to depend on him through it all. You know, that's the main thing, because he want to get the glory. And so for us as men, just learning how to find that balance where we can balance between the testosterone of wanting to win and letting God balance, you know, what direction that he's trying to lead us in, because he wants to get the glory anyway. And a lot of times we take ourselves out of the way, and then he can lead and guide us in the direction that he wants us to go. And that's very hard for us.
And a lot of times we put ourselves on that pedestal to where we do win, and then we're glorified for it. But that's not how God wants it. You know, God, like you say, God wants the glory for it. But sometimes we step in the way and take credit for that glory. And sometimes when we do that, it doesn't necessarily go the way that we want to go. We may have that glorified moment for a couple of minutes in life, and then it can easily be taken away from it.
Right.
I've had that happen to me, where I'm at a good job. I'm making, you know, really good money. I'm traveling all over the nation, and I started to get big-headed a little bit. Like, man, look what I did. I'm self-made. I did this. And then a year and a half later, God took it right from me, and I was unemployed for 6 months. And then I had to break myself all the way down to, I'm literally in the living room with tears running down my face, with on my knees, with my head looking up to the ceiling, and my arms out, saying, God, it's nobody but you. You get all the glory. I'm sorry. Like, literally, he broke me all the way down. That was the first time in my life that I had ever been broken down, just so I can know that, hey, I can't take none of that credit. I'm not any of that credit. I'm giving him all of the glory, because the testosterone in me gave me the big head, and it wanted me, basically was making me think that I did all this by myself.
Right.
Even though I was praying, even though I was, you know, I was praying and saying thank you for this job. When I was talking to other people, I was saying I.
Right.
And I wasn't giving him the credit and giving him the credit. So in my eyes, I thought I was giving him the glory and credit, because I was praying to him and saying thank you for this job, thank you for this, thank you for that. But in the public's eye, I wasn't giving him the glory for it. And so when he broke me all the way down in my living room, that's when I kind of came to the realization that this don't have anything to do with me. This is way beyond. This is way beyond what my mind could even fathom. You know, and I had to push that testosterone, push that ego aside, because as men, we have huge egos, and we always need our ego stroked somehow. But I had to push that aside and recognize who was giving me all of the things that I had.
Right. And it's kind of, and it's ironic what you just said, because one of the things too, not only with us, a lot of times testosterone have us saving other people, or saving other situations where God is really trying to get the glory. But every time somebody may be about to hit that rock bottom, us being a close friend or a brother or a father or whatever, we grabbing people, we stopping them from hitting that rock bottom. Because when you, like you say, when you at your lowest point, the only thing you can do is look up. So sometimes I think we play God in other people's lives because of the testosterone. You know, whether it's a child who may be making bad decisions, and every time we don't want to see them fail, so when they about to fall, we catch them. And the Lord was like, no, I need you to let them go, because I'm trying to teach them something. I'm trying to show them something. So a lot of times we play God in other people's lives because of the testosterone. We want to see the people around us winning sometimes, and we even sometimes to our own detriment, we're saving other people, whether it's financially or, you know, emotionally or physically. We're actually always stepping in, using that testosterone as a motivator. Like, look, this is my son, this is my daughter. Let me grab this person. Sometimes God wants them to hit that ground so they can look up and depend on him. So that testosterone, man, I'm telling you.
It's really, really good you say that, because I think a lot of times we miss that because we're not listening A lot of times we don't have the posture at his feet to sit still and to listen. He gave us 2 ears so we can listen twice as much as we talk. And I don't think we do that enough. I know I don't do that enough.
I'm guilty.
As an example. Sometimes my posture isn't right to hear what he's saying and to receive what he's saying, so I can know, hey, I need to let my child hit the ground. It's okay. He's gonna be fine. He's protected. He's gonna be fine. But let him hit the ground real quick. Let him feel how that feels, so he doesn't want to feel like that anymore.
Right.
And that it's very, very good that you said that, man, because that's exactly kind of what I had to go through.
Right. Because I know it was a situation. My old pastor, Pastor Reverend Miller. I remember he preached a sermon. He was like, the word no. The word no has a feeling that comes along with it. So when we're dealing with children, especially, it's okay to tell that child no, because they need to understand that it's a feeling that comes along with it. And if they never heard it, when they get into the real world, they hear that word no, they're not going to know how to deal with it. It turns into depression or frustration or anger or whatever the case may be for that individual. But being able to tell somebody no, and a lot of times as men, that's hard for us to do sometimes.
It's very hard for us to do sometimes. And no is a complete sentence.
Correct.
Just no, period, or exclamation point, or whatever you want to add on to it. Right. But it is a complete sentence. And saying no can be very hard, especially when it comes to kids, family members, close friends, your wife. Like I've had several times where I got a huge heart. I got a hard looking exterior sometimes, but my heart is very huge, and I have the overwhelming desire to help people. And I'm talking about literally, I've opened up my house a couple of times for some of our family members and friends, for them to stay here rent free, not have to pay anything so they can get back on their feet. And my wife always looked at me like, here you go again. You go again, helping people, trying to and it's not that my wife doesn't have, a good heart as well, because she has a great heart, but I'm just always the one like, well, what is it that we can do to help them? But sometimes it may have backfired a couple of times, but I have to learn to say no and still do it in a loving way. No, hey, I love you. I still love you. There's no love lost, but the answer is no.
Right.
And I don't necessarily have to give an explanation of why I said no or whatever. No, thank you. But I still love you. And I'll make sure I pray for you, things that like that.
Right. Yeah. I mean, I think that's so important, and that's why another thing it says no man should be left alone. He'll fall victim to his own vice, but that's one of them, because a lot of times our wives do give us that balance. Because, like when you have a heart like we do, like sometimes we'll go over and above and beyond, and our wives be sitting there like, you ain't,
here you go
you being taken advantage of right now. I'll be like, nah, it ain't. Okay. So I think that's very important, that we learn to let God be the testosterone a lot of times. And, that don't make us less as men. Just being able to understand how to balance that testosterone is very important. So I guess we can move on to the third part.
Yeah. So the third part is how we as men, especially as Black men, man, we need encouragement right now in the times that we're living in. And I say the times that we're living in, but these times have been going on since our ancestors was brought over from Africa. So the times has been going on, but in living in the now, we need as much encouragement as we can get over criticism. We're already aware of the stereotypes that are out there about us, the preconceived notions that are out there about us. People can see us, not talk to us, not have a conversation, don't know our heart, our character. They can do all of that and judge us just by the color of our skin. And I think we all, in some form of fashion, probably have been there before. Any Black man on this call I'm pretty sure have been in a situation where we were judged just based on how we look. Nobody's ever had a conversation. They don't know our integrity. They don't know our character. They don't know any of that stuff. So we need encouragement from other people, but we need to encourage each other. And I think that's very important. When you see a Black man doing something, you see a man that's doing something and it's good, and and it's something that can make you proud, even if you don't know that person, and go over there and say, hey brother, I see what you're doing, man. Keep up the good work. We need more of you in this community. We need more of you out here on these streets, teaching these young kids, teaching these young boys, teaching these young girls how to act, how not to act, how to carry themselves, how to have integrity, what I'm saying, how to represent your family. That your last name is a representation of your direct bloodline. So if you out here acting crazy, not only are you making yourself look bad, but you making your family look bad. You disgracing your family. You know what I'm saying? And
Right.
so I think a lot of times as a young kid, because I know I did it when I was young, and I'm sure a lot of other people have done it when they were younger, and see it going on now, how people do crazy things. And you're like, why is she doing that? Why is he doing that? You just disgracing your family's last name by out here acting stupid. And especially when everybody has one of these right here, everybody has one of these. So it can go viral just like that. I can do something right now and you can see it in 2 minutes, and 10 million other people can see it in 2 minutes. And I think we need to be more aware of what we're doing. And like I say, being more encouraging to each other.
Right. Yeah, definitely that. And like something my mom always raised us up, and she always said, you always gonna catch it out in the world, but when you come home, you need peace. And a lot of times we don't even have peace in our own households. Especially as Black men, sometimes just having conversations with a lot of my different close brothers and just men I come in contact with, just understanding that a lot of us live in a world with lack of peace. Like you said, we catch it on our job, we catch it on the street, and then to come home and catch it again, because
Right.
a lot of times we just trying to do the right thing. We really just trying to find our way in it all, taking care of our kids and our family. And sometimes there's no script to it. Sometimes we didn't have that model or that guide, to how to even navigate throughout life. And then just to be able to catch, and then I think a lot of times women, I mean, and I don't want to, marginalize anybody, but women have their own set of things that they go through. But a lot of times in our community, as Black men, it's just an unspoken thing, and we go through so much. I was looking at a post that Torrey Smith had posted, and he asked a question. He said somebody asked him a question. How are you when the first time a police pulled a gun out of you? And he was like, he thought about it and he remembered the incident when that actually happened to him. So he had posted that question on IG. And then when I went and looked at the comments, it was like over 2,000 or something comments of young Black men that had guns pulled out on them by police officers. I'm talking about from as young as 8 or 9 all the way up to grown men. And it made me start thinking about my situation when it happened to me. And I never spoke on it. I never talked about it. It was a situation with me and some friends, of course, we was doing stuff we had no business, but the guns was pulled on us and just what that did mentally, but never even talking about it, never even sharing that. And then when I started reading these comments, I just really started thinking about the dynamics of what we actually go through on a day-to-day basis. And a lot of times these scars and wounds are still there, and they're never discussed and they're never talked about, and then, in the workforce and in the community and then at home, sometimes we just got to take it and we just keep it moving. And we definitely need to start really building each other up, and really just stop, bashing each other and just thinking about what we actually go through, and supporting each other on a day-to-day basis.
Yeah, I would definitely agree with you on that. I would say to all the men to make sure that we are constantly encouraging each other. We get enough criticism as is. So we get enough criticism for being, first off, a man, then being a Black man. It's like double criticism. So we definitely need to be encouraging each other, and women as well. We be encouraging to your man. When we come home, you may not know the battles that we had to face that day, the things that we may have had to take at work or hold in and not say or whatever, and all that armor that we have on when we go outside the door. we want to take that armor off when we get home. When we step inside the house, we want to take off the chest plate. We want to take off the helmet. We want to put down the sword. We want to just relax, exhale, and breathe, and you know, for our woman to be that peace. And I know we need to do the same for them as well. But I can't speak from a woman's standpoint. I can only speak from a male standpoint, and from a man's standpoint, we need that, you know.
Right. And then one of the other things that I know me and you had talked about it is is a lot of times as men these days, it's so difficult too, because every time it seems like we figure out what the line is for a man to do, they push that line again.
Mm-hmm.
And then now we got to figure that out again, you know, because before, you know, it was okay, a man is a provider, you know, you go out and you provide for your family. Like for me, you know, just coming from a situation of, you know, I didn't go to college, I don't have a college degree, you know, but being able to, I'm working hard because I got to work twice as hard because I'm black. I got to work twice as hard because I'm dark skinned. I got to work twice as hard because I'm tall. I got to work twice as hard because I'm over 225. And so as I'm working hard and I get to the point that I can provide for my family, then the line get pushed. Mm-hmm. Now men should be doing more than just providing. You know, now we need to tend to the kids, not to say that we shouldn't no way, but then now it's not okay in some instances to be masculine and be a man, because now you're being too hard. So it's so crazy because they keep pushing the line, and sometimes as men, as soon as we think we figured this thing called life out, the narrative gets switched up on us again. We find ourselves right back where we was before, trying to figure out what it is we should be doing, what we should not be doing, how should we be saying it, should we not be saying it, should I be giving you a hug right now, should I be, you know, so it gets complicated sometimes, you know, and that's why the relationship is so important with Christ.
Yeah, I agree with you. A lot of times we get caught up in what society deems that we should be doing, whether we should be all inclusive with this group and that group and you know, these people and you know, it's like, all right, sometimes we start looking at social media and we start looking at the news and we start thinking like, well, maybe I should do this, or maybe I should do that, instead of just praying about it, getting that posture at the Father's feet to listen to what he's saying, to receive it, to internalize it, and then to go project that and display that in the world. We need to do a better job of doing that. I know definitely do a better job of doing that.
Right. And that's why, you know, that's why our relationship with Christ is so important, you know, and you know, just to be able to find that balance between the rights and the wrongs and the do's and the don'ts, just continuing to just always be better in ourselves and just educating ourselves and just continuing to just seeking his face on the direction on which he wants us to go, and putting us in those situations where we can actually be better men and better providers and have the people around us understand those struggles and just be patient with me while I'm learning. He ain't finished with me yet. You know, matter of fact, he just getting started.
Absolutely.
Right. Okay. So with that being said, I know, but just kind of to wrap this all up, I just wanted to say, because he lives, we can face tomorrow. Because he lives, all fear is gone. Because I know who holds the future, my life is worth living. Just because he lives, this Father's Day is a beautiful opportunity to celebrate the God-given men in our lives, because we all desire to respect, impress, and follow honorable men in our lives. These are the men who have shaped us, invested in us, and been patient with us, and given us the love and stability that we needed to become mature and competent adults. So I would like to call some of my closest friends, some of my fellas that I've invited to this call today. But I invited a group of men here today that have played a significant role in my life. And I would just like for them to come off mute, or actually, if you can, just put your camera on for a hot second. I just want to take this opportunity to
Good morning.
To thank you guys. Okay, since I see Javon first. So what I'm about to do now is, these are the guys that actually make up who I am, from all different ages, all different backgrounds, all different stories. So since Javon came off first, I just want to say I am Javon Howard.
No, I am Javon Howie. I'm a father of Zoe Howie. Fatherhood has taught me exactly how to love, patience, dedication, and I'm thankful for it every day. So I want to thank it. Wish everybody happy Father's Day, all the fathers out here, and all the women that deal with us on an everyday basis as we go through our battles, and we come home and maybe even sometimes not even maybe lashing out or even handling our difficulties, and this women being there for us. But I want all the fathers happy Father's Day, and we keep pushing and keep bringing each other up.
All right. Appreciate you. Much
Yes, sir.
love.
Bobby Mack.
I am Bobby Mack.
I am Bobby, father of Brianna Mack, grandfather of Bria Mack, and a father of have a father. I'm grateful for you, Rayvon, for always lifting me up, talking to me, and inspiring me. We do it on a daily basis, each other. Randolph also that's on the phone, and being a father is very special. Being a man to a lot of people, they look up to us. So I want everybody to continue to strive to do their best, encourage, and uplift everybody.
Thank you, Bobby. Next, I would like to say I am Jeff Fletcher.
Oh, I am Jeff Fletcher, the son of George Fletcher, the husband of Vanessa Fletcher, the father of Brianna Fletcher, the father of Kiana Fletcher, and the grandfather of Layla. I just wanted to say happy Father's Day to all the fathers. Stay encouraged, be blessed. And what I've learned from fatherhood is, like my man said, patience, understanding, honor, respect, integrity, and going hard in the paint for my family.
Thank you, my brother.
Okay.
I would like to say I am Randolph Cunningham.
Oh, I am Randolph Cunningham, a father of 4, Cameron, Rama, Emery, and Talia. I'm a husband to Atavia. I'm a son, a father, and fatherhood has taught me a lot. What I realized is that God never created us. It never wanted us to have a life that made him unnecessary. And it is so easy to attempt to live life without him or in spite of him. And as men, we have to be sure that we don't allow the world to shape the narrative of what a father is, but we allow our Father in heaven to show us what a father is. I think it's very important. We have 4 gospels in the scriptures that models, or at least shows us a son that knew how to be a son. And he showed exactly what our relationship with a God should look like. He said he doesn't do anything that his father doesn't tell him to do. He doesn't say anything his father doesn't want him to say. And we have to model that for our kids and for our women. So when you said earlier about the attack that we have as men, I don't know anybody other than a man would truly understand that, because God holds us at a responsibility, not a high responsibility, but a different responsibility. And that we are to model what a father should look like. And a lot of us don't have that model. So sometimes it's hard for us to serve a God that we don't see and call him father, because, some of us didn't have that. Some of us didn't even have good ones that did have fathers. So God has taught me a lot about fatherhood. And the more that I seek him and spend my time with him, he begins to humble me and prune me and shape me, so I can be the guy, the father to my children that he wants me to.
I am Timotheus Cunningham.
I am Timotheus Cunningham,
T-Mac.
son of Randolph Cunningham Sr., the father of Timotheus Cunningham Jr., Logan Scott Cunningham, and Josiah Cunningham. Just want to wish you all fathers a happy Father's Day. I was just thinking about just a lot of the aspects of what you guys were speaking about. And one thing that we must keep in mind, I believe, is the confidence and not to carry around the rap sheet. The rap sheet shows who we are at some point in your life and things that you've done. But condemnation, it really takes away from the freedom and from the confidence to pursue all of the life's challenges, because if that's in the forefront of your mind, it kind of blocks the view about decision making, even making rational decisions in the simplest matters. Even with how you spoke about the carriage. Well, we got modern day cars. Sometimes we got to put the car on cruise control, and sometimes we got to look back and deal with the family and deal with everything all simultaneously. God has gifted us that way to not just be. He gifted us to be versatile, and of course, He wants us to be single-minded. But sometimes it's just so much going on, and it's just like you say, you just pray in the Holy Spirit. A lot of the challenges it's just too much to bear. That's why we have to call on Him to give us strength and give us wisdom and knowledge and understanding, and turn the noise down in the background so that we can key in and hear. There's so much going on, and you don't have that quiet time with the Lord, then you won't be able to hear how He would want you to orchestrate. In my life, that's how things are a little bit, now. In times past, I wasn't even, I would say, spiritually conscious enough to even think about trying to govern my own life, let alone be a steward over what He's gifted me as far as a beautiful wife and children, and even my own family, being available, and just simple as things. But anyway, I have gratitude today, and I'm thankful for you, Rayvon, and a lot of guys I see on here, my brother as well, my other brothers and cousins and stuff, that y'all guys have been inspiration to me throughout the years, and let's continue, like you said, brother Ray, to encourage one another, to talk about these things and put them on Front Street. Like you said about the pistol being pointed at you. You never really had time or even dealt with the mental part of that and how it affected you and things like that. I believe that in a multitude of counselors, there's safety, and that's what it looks like here on the Zoom call. So I just think that it's good that you guys touched on that, and that we just continue to pray and stay strong and do what we know we've been called to do, what the Lord has called us to do, and just know that He's not going to never leave us nor forsake us. He's with us. It's just a matter of us opening the door to Him, because He's continually knocking, continually loving on us, and of course His grace is sufficient for us. But anyway, with that being said, love you guys, and continue to have a blessed rest of the Father's Day.
I'd like to say I am Michael Clark.
Yes, I am Michael Clark. You guys hear me?
Yes, sir.
Yes, we actually out here at the zoo, so trying to dodge the grandkids and kind of be able to speak with you guys. Yes, I'm the son of Robert McGee, the father and stepfather of Mike Webb Clark, Devon Heath, Tracy Ingram, Tremonti Ingram, and the grandfather of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 grandkids. And I named them Tyson Heath, Ace Heath, Kano Heath, Mike Quill Clark Jr., Trevor Ingram, and Steve Clark. I'm thankful for actually going up to you down there laughing, man. I'm thankful for actually being on this call. A lot of points were really hit, and a lot that really hit my myself and my wife was listening, especially like the carriage and doing things and moving forward, and not all the time looking back, and and being that husband that I should be. and grabbing it and pulling, like, you know, and when Devon said, like, you know, doing things yourself, when really, you know what I'm saying, it's God actually doing that work for you. And a lot of times when you take that credit, it will, you know what I'm saying, knock you flat on your face. And I've been there too, like having that I mentality when I know it's God all the time. Just you know, just blessed to be a father, blessed to, you know, stay having from there, blessed to be a grandfather, you know, and let them, you know, just get away with everything and do whatever they're doing, like they're doing right now. To be able, you know, like to be able to have brothers that you can fellowship with and talk to, and know that we have a lot of things in common, even those of us that really don't speak. Like just seeing this and hearing everyone, you're able to see, like, okay, like it's definitely it's a struggle, but as long as you keep your faith in God, you know, you get through everything. And I just appreciate you guys. You know what I'm saying? Happy Father's Day to everybody. And I guess that's my time.
Appreciate you.
Great,
Y'all
Mike.
don't say nothing. Next, I would like to say I am Brian Johnson.
I am Brian Johnson, father of Isaiah Johnson. Main thing that stuck out to me in this whole conversation was trusting in God and knowing that as a man and as a father, he knows what's best. Oftentimes we get caught up in not knowing but doing, that we don't listen. So I'm grateful and I'm thankful to have the guys in my life that I have. Mike, Shaq, Randolph, TC, Bobby Mack, all you guys have been so inspirational. And not only just, y'all been good and positive role models. I've been led the wrong way, went down the wrong paths, didn't know how to come home and be a father. But y'all guys got behind me, you rallied, and you helped me, and you taught me a lot of things that I didn't know. And for that, I feel like I'm a great father now. I feel like my job is to push my son further than I could ever go. And you guys have helped me and encouraged me and been there along with, you know, other family members, my sister, you know, my mom before she passed. But it's nothing like learning man stuff from a man. And I appreciate you guys. Happy Father's Day. I love y'all. And let's continue to move forward.
I'd like to say I am Devon Barnes.
I am Devon Barnes, son of Thomas Barnes and father of Corlin and Channing Barnes. I just want to give all the fathers a shout out, all the men on here. A lot of these guys I've known since we were kids, and it's nice to see us grown in as fathers. And I know I'm a better father this year than I was last year. I'm going to be a better father next year than I was this year. Learn from each other, also teach each other. Always count on God. And even if you don't have, you know, a strong relationship, find a relationship. Find somebody you can talk to, and we can all improve. We are parents, just as human beings, you know, in these trying times that we got to go through. You know, a lot of times we see other people's mistakes and kind of learn from those, you know, make our own and learn from those. But I think, you know, in these times, we're going to come out as better people, because just what we're doing now, just all of us coming together on this Sunday, Father's Day, you know, using the technology that we have, different opportunities that we have to share and fellowship with one another. And I know I learned so much just from hearing everybody speak. And these people I see a lot, and I see and didn't know, you know, different perspectives on things and how they view stuff from a religious standpoint. And that we all as men and parents and husbands and boyfriends and all of us, you know, I think a lot of times we use our strength, you know, it's a strength, but it also can become a weakness because we forget about ourselves sometimes. So we need to make sure we do stuff for ourselves and also reach out to each other to make sure everybody's good, prayed up, and ready to face these challenges that we're gonna meet as parents. So I just appreciate all y'all, and I'm blessed to know all y'all, and I appreciate the opportunity to come on here and speak.
I would like to say I am Clarence Jones.
I'm Clarence Jones. I'm a father of 7, grandfather of 12, pastor, husband, son, brother, uncle. I'm most grateful for the opportunity to be in the circle of men on today. I'll be honest with you, when I was thinking about a Father's Day message, your face popped into my mind. That's why I contacted you and asked you to do this. Little did I know how God was going to use you to create an opportunity for not only a multitude of men to hear the conversation that took place on today, but I thought it was a powerful conversation. It was almost like sitting in the barbershop and listening to the conversation that takes place in the barbershop sometime. Although I haven't been to the barbershop in a while, but it was beautiful to hear the hearts of men. Not only the honesty, the openness that which you shared, and just to see, especially Black men, come to a table and be able to openly and honestly share what's happening on the inside. A lot of times we don't tell people what's happening on the inside of us as men. We keep that to ourselves, and that's one of the reasons that I think most Black men die early, because we keep a lot of stress bottled up on the inside. We don't share what's happening on the inside of us and what's happening in our world. And if you remember the motto we used to have at the men's Bible study, it's time to take the S off your chest. Can't be Superman all the time. Sometimes you have to open up and share and be honest and let people know where you're coming from. And I think that's what happened on today. You two gentlemen shared, and you enlightened us, and you spoke powerfully to us, and you gave us a glimpse into your lives. And we, first of all, thank you for being open and honest with us, and that allowed us to look into our own individual lives as you were speaking, and ask ourselves the questions: what things do I need to be honest with? What things do I need to deal with? What two people are inside of me struggling to gain control of my life and my situations? So again, I thank you two gentlemen for all that you have presented and brought to the table on today. And I pray God's blessings upon each and every man that has been a part of this.
I am Dr. Darrell Starnes.
Oh, I is Dr. Darrell Starnes. But I just want to say that this is probably the most impressive, inspiring, and enlightening Father's Day service that I remember ever being a part of. And I want to thank God for our pastor letting the Lord guide him to invite Brother Rayvon to be the Father's Day speaker. And I want to thank God for letting Brother Rayvon be led of the Lord in the persons he invited to share in this awesome, awesome experience. I want to thank Rayvon and our brother for the powerful dialogue, the message, and I want to thank all of the brothers who have stood tall, giving God the glory, showing that God is raising up an army. And I'm so honored to be a part of this army. I do want to say that I received so much from the message. And it just came so clear that only through the Lord and the fellowship of his people can a man juggle, or can a father juggle the responsibilities that are on us in a manner in which we can find balance. Only through our relationship with God and our fellowship with his people can we manage that thing called testosterone in a manner in which it results in victory for ourselves, our families, and those around us. And only through our relationship with God and the fellowship of his people can we find encouragement that's authentic, real, and fortifying. So thank you so much.
I would just like to thank y'all for definitely supporting. I just hope we was able to make a difference and just kind of just bring to the light some of the things we go through as men. And then just continue to, let's keep this dialogue going, continue to support each other. We've been practicing that, so we all just gonna continue to step our game up and continue to build each other up so we can be better men. Devon, I'd like to ask you if you got anything in closing. And then if not, if I can get Mr. Jones, Pastor Jones to close us out.
No, I'd just like to say again, thank you so much for thinking about me. Thank you for inviting me onto the platform to have this dialogue and discussion with you. I again stress how important it is for us to continuously uplift each other, for us to continuously encourage each other to do better, to be better, to know better, to expand our minds, to when you see another brother that's doing something that's admirable, to say something to him, encourage him. It's okay. That doesn't make us any less than a man. If you see another man that's doing great as a father, that's doing great as a husband, that's doing something great in his community, it's okay if you don't know him to say, hey brother, look, I don't know you, but my name is Devon, and I just want to say personally, man, I think you're doing an outstanding job, what you're doing. And that's it. You don't have to sit there and hold a whole conversation with him, but I guarantee you that'll mean a lot to that person, because I'm sure, and we all know as men, we don't get encouraged enough. We don't get told thank you enough. We don't get told, man, you know what, brother, flaws and all, you're doing an outstanding job. So encourage your brothers, encourage one another, continue setting the great examples that you want to see in your children and the younger generation in your communities. I hope God bless you all. I hope everybody has a great Father's Day. And again, thank you so much for lending your ear to me.
Let us pray. Lord, the first thing we want to do is just thank you for this day and all that we have heard and all that we have felt. Lord, it is a day we will never forget because you have been glorified. Your truth has been taught and proclaimed through these two brothers. And we want to thank you for their obedience to the way you guided them. Then we want to thank you for guiding them to include so many brothers who love you and whose lights are shining and who also shared. And we pray, oh God, that you will bless every single person on this call. Every single one, every man, every woman, every son, every father, every daughter, every mother. And Lord, we are encouraged by knowing that you love Israel and you love Jacob. You love us when we're acting like Israel, and you still love us when we're acting like Jacob. But you love us too much to keep us acting like Jacob. You're a God who can change our name. And so as we leave this service today, we pray that we all would know you in a personal way as a Lord and Savior. And then we pray that we all will grow in you so that you can shape us as you shaped Jacob and made him into Israel. And so that the blessing of the Lord will be on us and in us, and that blessing will make us a blessing to others. And now, unto him who is able to do immeasurably more than we can ask or imagine, according to the power that is at work in us, to you be the glory in the church. Through Christ Jesus we pray. Amen and amen. God bless you all. God bless you.